for me, when you see a lot of like kind of fluff and things like that doesn't make sense. It's not, and it is like calling them out, but it's like, hey, this is not good because of this. And if that upsets you, like, let's have a conversation about it, defend your, like, let's talk about your position. And you would be surprised how many people in this industry will not do that.
I'm surprised the amount of people that have, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
I figured when you were calling people out and saying, come on and let's talk about it, I didn't think anyone would agree to that. Because I mean, not many people have our backgrounds.
No.
I mean, it's not. And this kind of goes into the red dot classes, but like the fluff classes, the cool guy classes, like there is no bad training. I mean, if you're going to the range and putting in rounds down range, like that, you're still getting rounds down range. It's better than nothing. But I think it's like, to me, it's just all that fluff stuff. And someone sent me a video that you had done, and I totally agree with. Like shooting from your back, shooting from the prone position, kneeling position, seated position, shooting under cars. Not bad skills to have, right? I mean, that you can train on those, but is that stuff that's truly needed in a gunfight? Like, but if you're doing that on the range, you're wasting time. So you should be practicing from spots that is going to be pretty much your constant, right?
That's the thing where it's like, okay, I get it. In terms of like understanding equipment, demonstration of skill, there's an element there that, okay, can you shoot like that? If I put myself in a very unstable position and camp the weapon at 90 degrees to shoot under the car, are you able to get effective hits? Because you understand how it works. That's a training element. The problem is people that are teaching you to get anchored to the ground and shoot under cars are teaching that as a viable operational technique. And where it comes from is like the guy teaching it, you have never been in a fucking fight, because that is the last thing you want to do, is anchor yourself and lose all of your awareness and visibility of what the situation is happening. And if you say that, they're like, well, no. And then they're like, oh, statistics, data, blah, blah, blah. Man, shut the fuck up. I'm going to tell you, first person shooter, actual fighting, what you're doing is wrong and it's dangerous, and then also it's not necessary. It's the same thing where guys that shooting strong hand only and weak hand only is a skill that you need, that you should in initial training. It helps you understand how the pistol performs, and then the concepts of like input into the gun while you're pulling the trigger, right? And it's something that you have to do. Saying that this is a critical skill, if you cannot shoot weak hand only, and because if you get injured, and it's like, okay, dude, let's talk about how many times have you been shot? And it's really quickly like, oh, well, never. Okay, well then, in a fucking fight, and you get shot, and then all of a sudden you're just going to somehow transition and be calm and have the presence of mind to deliver effective 25 meter weak hand only shots. Like, that's not a thing but it's not done it's not trained in the context of like demonstration of skill, or this is a training pathway to get you to understand a concept. It's trained like you have to have this skill, because what if you get injured? It's like,
I think everyone should know how to shoot both sides, definitely, because if something does, happen, and you only have that left hand or right hand, you better know how to. I mean, at that point, you just got shot, you're kind of fucked, right? I mean, you better know how to save your life one-handed. But but I always, after that, I always say, you're like, get proficient at it, stay proficient, but then after that, always be shooting both hands on the gun. I mean, that you're always going to have more control. You're going to be more accurate with both hands on the gun. But at least have that skill,
Yeah, I think you have to have that skill from a training standpoint. But if you were to put a percentage of how much time do you spend shooting weak hand only 25-yard B8s, what would that percentage look like in your total training?
Yeah, I mean, to me, until I'm proficient, then I just stay proficient. But I think I don't know if that's where you're going with it, like on class-wise, because I've heard it. Someone sent me something years ago, and there was there was a guy teaching on his pistol classes for LE guys. He was doing one hand shoot it only, like no freestyle, and he was doing that going off of LE stats, because it is actually a LE stat. The majority of LE shootings come down to one-handed shooting. Like that's an actual stat. But that stat is totally skewed
100%,
because that's going off of untrained officers that don't go to the range all the time, and their muscle memory coming out of the holster isn't to get both hands on the gun under stress. So it gets chalked up as a one-hand shooting. Some of these instructors are teaching just one-hand shooting. It's crazy.
I just watched the video that Panone sent me, and it was a guy shooting through his windshield, and then for no reason he was shooting, and then just took one hand off the gun, continued shooting, and then put it back on. So yes, and I would say there's plenty of cops watching this or that are gonna watch it. By all means, chime in. Like statistically, I would say that's a skewed stat in terms of what a gunfight needs to look like for law enforcement.
Yeah.